Rowley, a dog. Look how high the crime rate is in the country now, boy. Forest, come down, Imbu, come down, UNC, in tongue. I don't want to leave you on top the horse, I need you to come down here for me now. You're claiming PNM them is boss, but look how high the crime rate is now. PNM feel the bright, they can't win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Take me to with advice, Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there. I just want to warn you, before the mixing would concern you. They went like keto and walk voodoo for the people and them to vote you. On the IG post you look nice, 1 million followers, 1 million likes. In the grocery the food price high, give we 2% and feed me with lie. That man can mama guy, he feel it too bright. Yeah, we need election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Take me to bed advice, calling in but them they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there. Hands where you come down, you're going on the beat up to mama guy, poor people. Good you get wet down, Champa always in a zest. Least for development in a mess. Come and get the government credit card arrest. Remember when you buy all the wig and dress? Comments are millions if you check. Tell the people them how you get it. PNM government them unfit. Every minute them would raise the budget. PNM government them unfit. Suffer poor people in pandemic. PNM government them unfit. Give we 2% then they laugh at it. PNM government them unfit. Them unfit. PNM feel the bright, they can't win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Take me to with advice, Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Rowley, come down, UNC, in tongue. Forest, come down, UNC, in tongue. Rohan, come down, UNC, in tongue. Imbut, come down, UNC, in tongue. PNM feel the bright, they can't win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley, a dog. You go learn. The crime rate is in the country now, boy. Forest, come down, Imbut, come down, UNC, in tongue. I don't want to leave you on top the horse, I need you to come down here for me now. You're claiming PNM them is boss, but look how high the crime rate is now. PNM feel the bright, they can't win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Take me to with advice, Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there. I just want to warn you, before the mixing would concern you. They went like keto and walk voodoo for the people and them to vote you. On the IG post you look nice, 1 million followers, 1 million likes. In the grocery the food price high, give we 2% and feed me with lie. That man can mama guy, he feel it too bright. Yeah, we need election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Take me to bed advice, calling in but them they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there. Hands where you come down, you're going on the beat up to mama guy, poor people. Good you get wet down, Champa always in a zest. Least for development in a mess. Come and get the government credit card arrest. Remember when you buy all the wig and dress? Comments are millions if you check. Tell the people them how you get it. PNM government them unfit. Every minute them would raise the budget. PNM government them unfit. Suffer poor people in pandemic. PNM government them unfit. Give we 2% then they laugh at it. PNM government them unfit. Them unfit. PNM feel the bright, they can't win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Take me to with advice, Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley, come down from there, Rowley. Rowley, come down, UNC, in tongue. Forest, come down, UNC, in tongue. Rohan, come down, UNC, in tongue. Imbut, come down, UNC, in tongue.
You go learn.
Everybody to work again, cause the country need to strive.
Done. Let's get to work again. Come on, people, you know it's true. Job done. Let's get to work again, cause the UNC works for you.
From now we start the engine. UNC have the plan to build a brighter future. Forward Twin Island. Come on everybody.
everybody, and you know it's true. It's time to start work again, and the UNC works for you.
World nation. This is how we work. Come on. Tell them what we deal with.
We don't talk the talk, we just walk the walk. We don't make no joke when it's time to work.
Katrina.
We don't talk the talk.
What you say?
We just walk the walk.
Tell them.
We don't make no joke when it's time to work. Let's get to work again, cause we're sick of them on the line. Let's get to work again, cause the country needs to shine.
Let's get to work again. Come on. People you know it's true. Let's get to work again, cause the UNC works for you. Ain't no rush.
From there we start the engine. UNC have the plan to build a brighter future. Forward 29.
Come on everybody, and you know it's true. It's time to start work again, and the UNC works for you.
Work nation.
Hi, my name is Hannah Henry, and at the age of 12 years old, I passed for Bishop Anstey High School. At the time, I didn't have access to a laptop, and my mom couldn't afford it. But thankfully to the UNC government, I was able to have access to one, and it was so much easier to not have to worry about sending in my assignments on time. And I'm so grateful. Thanks, Auntie Cams. When UNC wins, everybody wins.
I retired in 2002. When I retired, my pension was $1,000 from NIS. When Mr. Bissessa came into power in 2010, my pension rose to $3,000. Now I'm hearing PNM say, if you have money saved, they could take away your pension. I can't wait to vote UNC again. When UNC wins, senior citizens like myself win.
My son Josiah, when he was born, he was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease. And a friend told me about the Children's Life Fund. Thanks to Kamala and the UNC government for making it happen. He was given a second chance in life, and now he's in Form 5 and he's able to sit CXC. Take it from me, when UNC wins, everybody wins.
Hannah Henry, and at the age of 12 years old, I passed for Bishop Anstey High School. At the time, I didn't have access to a laptop, and my mom couldn't afford it. But thankfully to the UNC government, I was able to have access to one, and it was so much easier to not have to worry about sending in my assignments on time. And I'm so grateful. Thanks, Auntie Cams. When UNC wins, everybody wins.
I retired in 2002. When I retired, my pension was $1,000 from NIS. When Mr. Bissessa came into power in 2010, my pension rose to $3,000. Now I'm hearing PNM say, if you have money saved, they could take away your pension. I can't wait to vote UNC again. When UNC wins, senior citizens like myself win.
My son Josiah, when he was born, he was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease. And a friend told me about the Children's Life Fund. Thanks to Kamala and the UNC government for making it happen. He was given a second chance in life, and now he's in Form 5 and he's able to sit CXC. Take it from me, when UNC wins, everybody wins.
Hannah Henry, and at the age of 12 years old, I passed for Bishop Anstey High School. At the time, I didn't have access to a laptop, and my mom couldn't afford it. But thankfully to the UNC government, I was able to have access to one, and it was so much easier to not have to worry about sending in my assignments on time. And I'm so grateful. Thanks, Auntie Cams. When UNC wins, everybody wins.
I retired in 2002. When I retired, my pension was $1,000 from NIS. When Mr. Bissessar came into power in 2010, my pension rose to $3,000. Now I'm hearing PNM say, if you have money saved, they could take away your pension. I can't wait to vote UNC again. When UNC wins, senior citizens like myself win.
My son Josiah, when he was born, he was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease. And a friend told me about the Children's Life Fund. Thanks to Kamala and the UNC government for making it happen. He was given a second chance in life, and now he's in Form 5 and he's able to sit CXC. Take it from me, when UNC wins, everybody wins.
Hi, my name is Hannah Henry, and at the age of 12 years old, I passed for Bishop Anstey High School. At the time, I didn't have access to a laptop, and my mom couldn't afford it. But thankfully to the UNC government, I was able to have access to one, and it was so much easier to not have to worry about sending in my assignments on time. And I'm so grateful. Thanks, Auntie Cams. When UNC wins, everybody wins.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you to our meeting in the borough of Point Fortin. We would like all supporters and members to come closer, please, under the tent. Occupy the chairs. We are about to start shortly. My name is Maximus Trotman, and my duty here tonight is simply to introduce the chairman, councillor, and deputy mayor of the borough of Siparia, Councillor Shankar Tilok Singh. So could you give Shankar Tilok Singh a warm welcome, please?
Good evening. Could we all stand for the national anthem?
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Almighty God, most beneficial and merciful, Creator of the universe and embodiment of divine wisdom and light, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. May your will be done in our nation as it is in the heavens. Please bless our political leader, party officials, activists, and all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Give us the grace to always see good, be good, and do good, and the courage to serve the people. Protect us as we stand against injustice and iniquity, and inspire our endeavors to find the right solutions to the problems that are affecting our fellow citizens. Grant that we may always work together with humility and respect for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of our country.
Good evening, UNC soldiers. We ready? We ready? What is the code? When UNC win? When UNC win? All right, so we ask everyone to come up closer. There's some seats, additional seats here. Please come forward. As tonight, we are here in the heartland of Point Fortin with the code yellow, as we recognize tonight our chairman and the next MP for Faizabad, the Honorable Devendranath Tanku. We recognize a man who is no stranger to Point Fortin, Ansel Roger. We recognize His Worship, the Mayor of Siparia, Dudnath Meru. Our next MP for Labre, Clyde P. Elder. And the man who taken Point Fortin, Onesto Kiza. As you come out here in your hundreds, and we have hundreds of people streaming live, we recognize our political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. You see, foot soldiers of the UNC, they was down here yesterday playing mass and using all sorts of terms and conditions, but we will deal with that. We have time to deal with that tonight. We have serious business to go down to and make sure that you are fully educated and equipped. So on the 28th of April 2025, on election day, we will have a new government in place. After 0600 hours, we will have a new Prime Minister and a new government, a UNC government, to make sure that we take and build this country. So time is critical tonight, this evening, and I go straight into the first speaker of this evening. And as a man no stranger to the Point Fortin constituency area, a man who have echoed the fight on the airwaves of 3 radio stations and TV, a man who continue to struggle for a better living condition in the Siparia Borough Corporation, and I will want to bring to the podium here tonight no other than His Worship, Dudnat Meru.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. When UNC wins, Honorable Political Leader Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, candidate for Faizabad, Mr. Devendranath Tanku, the next MP for Faizabad, the next MP for Point Fortin, Mr. Ernesto Kesa, the next MP for Labre, Mr. Clyde Elder, President General of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union and the OWTU members, our supporters of the UNC, pleasant good evening. On my way here this evening, I was really pleased for the first time coming to a political meeting and not having to leave home 4 o'clock to reach Point Fortin for 6 o'clock. It took me 40 minutes from Faizabad Akbar Trace to reach here because the highway that Kamla Prasad Bisesa built took me here in a shorter space of time. When I drove up and I saw the Point Fortin Hospital, I said to myself, I said, Meru, you was here in 2015 when Kamla Prasad Bisesa turned the sod for the construction of that hospital. And I hear in Rowley say, we built Point Fortin Hospital. You built one damn thing in Point Fortin. Point Fortin has been always treated, and Labre, the PNM supporters have been treated like a bastard child, and you continue to take the abuse, and you continue to vote for the PNM. Voting for the PNM has no interest for the constituents of Labre and Point Fortin, because when they come here for election, you are the vote bank. When election is done, they are dusted and run off and forget Labre and Point Fortin. When I look at the suffering and the amount of ghettos we have in Labre and Point Fortin, anybody who come in to vote PNM should be ashamed of themselves. Because you know why? You're voting for your own destruction. You're voting against your children. You're voting against the future of this country. Look at what PNM have done to this country in 10 years. This country is hardly recognized now. When you drive around this country, you feel the despair, the pain, and the suffering of our people. Poverty has riddled this country in the last 10 years. Today, reading on Facebook that 2x4 Minister of Finance condemning wage increase for workers in this country. He said that will lick up the country. So when Rowley was increasing his salary by 47%, they didn't know that would have lick up the economy. When he walking away with $1 million in gratuity. They didn't know that would have lick up the country, and taking credit for everything that the UNC did. You know, I have to go back to 1995 when Pandey started to build the desalination plant to bring water relief to people. The only thing the PNM didn't do was hang him in Woodford Square. Today, when that plant is down, half of Trinidad have no water. But that is the vision of the UNC. Not now, not in 2010, but since 1991 to 1995. For those who cannot see, the development of this country only took place when the UNC in office. When I said yesterday on a radio station that Kamla Prasad built 106 school, a old PNM, I even want to call him a kind of D, telling me on the radio, show me where the 106 schools there. Well, it looked like he on a wheelchair because he don't go around this country. We built police stations. They promised the Mayaro fire station for 100 years. They couldn't build it. Kamla built it in 5 years. Penal got a fire station. And you know the good thing? They get the fire station and they can't put the equipment 10 years now in the fire station. So tell me, what could they build? They can't build nothing. They destroyed this country in 10 years. And you willing to give them another 5 years to do what? To do what? The country is done. We need a government who can build back this country and bring back this country on a good economic footing. Under the PNM, the economy of this country has fallen flat. Workers are suffering. Unemployment on the increase. Bad roads. When you go to the hospital, you have to line up. I feel if PNM get the next 5 years, you might have to take a number to get a bed in the hospital, like in the bank. And we want to give them another 5 years. I am not talking to you here tonight, because I know we're ready to put Kamla Prasad Bisesa as the next Prime Minister. I'm talking to the PNM people in Point Fortin tonight who feel that PNM is the best thing since sliced bread. Every time PNM in office, they have destroyed this country. For those who are of my age, and Mr. Tanku and Mr. Roger, you would remember 1986, 33-3. The economy was in a state. I remember they had to ban apple and grapes because the PNM did thief out the treasury. I remember they cut public servants' salary and took away the cola. I suffered at the hands of that PNM wicked government in 1986 because I was a public servant then. I want anybody to tell me what this PNM government have done after 50 years of governance in this country. What have they done for us? If we had to calculate the amount of money they have spent every time they run this country, every one of them should have been jailed by today. That is what they have done. They have stolen the patrimony of this country. They don't care about workers. They don't care about families. They don't care about nobody. All they are concerned about is their own pockets, their friends, and their family. I hear Seo Chung say he go on in the grocery, he now know the price of food. I hear Jolene say, he says saltfish expensive like he just get it free. I want to tell Jolene tonight, he only started to eat saltfish when he became Prime Minister. That is when he started to eat saltfish. So that is why he now know the price. So you see, that is testament to the fact that these fellas, they know what's going on in the country. You in government 10 years and you now know the cost of living because he eating free, he eating in the Hyatt, he only eat and he swipe the card or somebody must swipe the card and pay for his food. This is the uncaring PNM government we have in this country. I want any PNM to tell me tonight, why are you voting PNM? What is your reason? Is it that you are scared to leave the Balize? or you want to vote PNM and end up in the Balize patch. That is where you are going to end up. You will end up in the Balize patch because they have nothing for you. They have nothing to offer this country. We have a lady who is sitting and waiting to become the next Prime Minister of this country with a track record of performance. Nobody could deny the fact that Kamla Persad-Bissessar was the best Prime Minister this country has ever seen. Kamla Persad-Bissessar do not like to see the citizens of this country suffer. She tried to make life easy. She give you laptop, baby milk grant, they increase pension. A man called me this evening. He said, Meru, you only want to win the election? Tell the chairman Tanku to tell Kamla to just make a joke and say she increasing the pension. I tell you, PNM people, they go by that. If Rowley tell them he go decrease it, they go still vote for him. That is how they is. I don't know what that PNM throw in them people water tank or in the water that they just afraid to leave the Balize. My friends, I telling you, Kamla will treat you like her children. Vote for the UNC. Let us get in government. Kamla love everybody in Trinidad and Tobago. We will not leave you out. Whatever Kamla do benefits every single citizen of this country. So do not be afraid. Come out on the 28th of this month. Support your UNC candidate for Labre, for Point Fortin. Well, we had to have them on the run in Faizabad because we ain't even seen a red plastic bag on the street in Faizabad. Everything on yellow. I want to see Point Fortin and Labre do like Faizabad and go yellow. The code is yellow. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Thank you very much.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC.
Yes, yes. Let's hear it again for the firehouse of Superior. They tell me tonight, don't get vexed. So I try not to get vexed. But I want to ask only a question. And I want a little answer. Right? Tell me one thing PNM give you that UNC take back. One thing. Can you tell me how much UNC has given and PNM took back? We could go countless and countless hundreds. Under 2010, 2015, under the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the gate was open. We had free laptops, free hospitals bill. And I see my hunter partner there inside there. You know how it was under the UNC. I want to recognize tonight the next member of Parliament for Tabakit, Sean Sobers, who is here with us. Let's hear it for him. I hear a man who was flying in the sky for the past how many years, saying that he spent so much $1 million, $200 million to fix roads in Point Fortin constituency. I want to know which part. I figure he put that money in the 96 km landslide, which they take 10 years to fix with 7 contractors with cost overrun, and it can't finish yet. They can't finish yet. I see him the other taking out pictures down there to say that he come and spend how much million probably to create potholes within the southwest area. The only road I see paved is in front of the house, so he fixed himself. That's your MP. That's your MP. I wanted, they boast about agriculture. I had a man crowing in Labre last night, down inside the school there, about agriculture and so on. You know the present Minister of Agriculture, the people of Cedras, Ikakas, they break down a fishing complex, fence it wrong, and say they refurbish it. And they both said, they said they refurbish it when you go to the fence wrong, nothing for the fishermen. But they're talking about agriculture. But I want to bring on someone tonight, ladies and gentlemen. No stranger to us. A man who I work with over the years, and a man who is respected, a comrade who continue to work with us and build not only Point Fortin, but the nation on a whole. A comrade over the years since 2008 who continue to work with us and build and fight the struggle for the working class, ladies and gentlemen. A comrade who continue to work with us and find ways of increasing your lives as we struggle to make better living conditions, not only in Point Fortin, throughout Trinidad and Tobago. I remember walking hand in hand, and as a fiery, for those who don't know, I'm a fiery also from Petrotrin, and we must always remember the wickedness that Keith, Christopher Rowley, and Stuart Young did to Point Fortin, and also Kennedy Richards, a man who continued to grow from the bowels of Trinma. His father worked so hard, passing through a medical plan and other benefits, and never stand up for the workers of Petrotrin Trinma operations. We will never forgive them, ladies and gentlemen, never forgive them. So I bring on tonight a man who walked from Pointe-à-Pied, from Point Fortin to Pointe-à-Pied to Woodford Square to make sure that Petrotrin remain open. But the next one only opening the fridge and closing it. But tonight, and on the 28th, 28th of April 2025, the time, don't get vexed. Judgment days come. So with no further ado, I want to bring in a man to bring greetings, a firehouse, a powerhouse. Ansel Roger will grace you tonight.
UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad wins. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins.
Thank you, thank you. And I walk with some evidence here tonight. Chairman of this very important meeting for the constituencies of both Point Fortin and Labre, our comrade, my brother and comrade, friend and comrade, co-worker and comrade, Councillor for Cedros, the chair of this evening's meeting, Councillor Shankar Tilak Singh. Chairman of the United National Congress, a brother, David Tanku, Mayor of Superior, Dudnat Mehu, we heard him just a while ago. Sean Roberts, the President of Transport and Industrial Workers Union, here with us this evening. Ryan Ramdas, the General Secretary of the same union, Transport and Industrial Workers Union. Our comrade and brother in struggle, Comrade Clyde Elder, candidate for Labre, and the next member of Parliament, don't forget that, for Labre, Mr. Sean Sobers, the candidate for Tabakit, here with us this evening. Our comrades from the Oilfields Workers Trade Union, the Blue Shirt Army, and of course, by no means least, the next Member of Parliament for the constituency of Point Fortin, our brother and comrade Ernesto Kiza. I want to start this evening, and like you, Comrade Meru, I am not talking or preaching to the converted, because all of us know that we are here for a purpose. In fact, none of us here belong to a CPEP gang like those who were busting from east, west, north, and south yesterday in their meeting. None of us here. All of us here came on our own free will and love for Trinidad and Tobago. Because we see the direction our country has been taken. And if urgent steps are not taken right now, we will be another Haiti here in Trinidad and Tobago, perhaps even worse than that. And so I thank everybody for coming out to display a love for your community and a love for country to make a change, because change is absolutely necessary. Wherever you go, and we have gone throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago, people could hardly wait. In fact, if you ask me, I wish if tomorrow was the 28th of April, because the more we wait, the more the country continues to burn down, and the more we wait, it's more lies they continue to tell. We are faced with a situation now where the most unqualified man to run the country could not even run his ministries, all of the ministries that they handed him to run. Failed in all of the ministries, he has now been given the job to run the country. The most unqualified person, if there was ever an unqualified person to run Trinidad and Tobago, Stuart Young. And permit me a little time here this evening. I want to deal with the lies that is peddled by Stuart Young. You see, Stuart Young is staring defeat in its face. And to get away from the lack of performance of himself and Rowley and this wicked PNM government, they are taking the conversation in every direction except the correct one. What has Stuart Young done for the workers of this country? And let us just check back. Stuart Young came from where? Chancery Chambers, representing workers. And if you ever believe that someone who had a position to assist and to help workers in this country, it would have been Stuart Young. But Stuart Young, admittedly by the former Prime Minister himself, was the Gary Sobers. The Gary Sobers, not for the people, you know, not for the workers. Gary Sobers to beat the workers and the people left, right, and center into submission for the benefit of the elites and their financiers. And so I want to tell this classroom bully here this evening, I am not afraid of any bully. I am not afraid of you, Stuart Young. And I will correct all the lies that you're telling. Not afraid of you. We have a way. We have a way, and if you check my record, I know how to deal with bullies, whether it's classroom bully or Prime Minister want to be. But Prime Minister office, after the 28th, and God face, you must never see in this country. Not you. Not you. So what have you done? What have you done? They can point to nothing. So that is why they are changing the conversation. But you know, I'm happy to see the prominence that I would have been given. The prominence that I would have been given, because you're linking me with the honorable leader. So everything for him, the threat for him is Kamala and Roger. And why do you think that is so? It is because of the track record of the former Prime Minister after the 28th of April here this month, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and also the fact that we are advocating something different this time. Their desperation is a desperation because you know what? It's not because they want to continue to thief, That too. Not because they're protecting the 1% interest, That too. But it's because they want to stay out of jail. And all of them guilty. All of them guilty of raiding the treasury. Raiding poor people. And they see jail facing them in their faces. And so, Stuart Young, prepare your jail clothes. We already have your jail number already. Prepare your jail clothes for the destruction that was done to Trinidad and Tobago. And so the fixing road, hurry, hurry. Fixing road, hurry, hurry. Patching hole, hurry, hurry. Want to open highway. Taking night to make day. You had 10 years to complete a highway that was 90% completed. You can't complete 10% in 10 years, but you're trying to hustle that. You're opening this and you're opening hospital so fast. The hospital empty. And there's a set of empty promises. But let me get to Stuart Young tonight. The first thing I want to deal with is how Stuart Young say that he saved my job. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, Point Fortin, Oilfields Workers Trade Union members, Blue Shirt Army, I want you to just take your memory back. The first thing I want to say, when Stuart Young say he saved my job, Stuart Young is telling a lie. And I say that without apology or fear of any repercussion. He's telling a lie. Stuart Young never saved this Roger job. When I was threatened to go back to work, it was the overwhelming support and force of the comrades in the Blue Shirt Army, comrades from ENP, comrades from Pointe-à-Pierre, comrades from TCL, members of the Blue Shirt Army, telling me, President General, we elect you to represent us, and we will not allow you to go back to work. And so at a big meeting at Pointe-à-Pierre, where over 1,000 workers gathered, all of them demanded and told the company that I am not going back to work. I want to put that lie to rest tonight. If there's anybody who protected me and defended me and ensured that I did not go back to work and save my job, it is the workers and the members of the Blue Shirt Army. Not Stuart Young. Not Stuart Young, not at all. And it is the struggle. It is the struggle that we mounted on that issue. But I want to tell you something else further. That on the 30th of November, 2018, it was the same Stuart Young, the same Rowley, and a fella called Lion Can. Only remember that fella? A fella called Lion Can. That fella lies so much. He lies so much that they say his soul still floating. He's dead years now, but his soul still floating somewhere around. Because he can't go into heaven because he lies so much, and the devil don't want any competition at all. That fella can. Franklin can. And so the unholy alliance, the lying trio, those were the people, including Stuart Young, that finally took my job on the 30th of November 2018 when they shut down Petrotrin and sent everybody home. So when he says to you that he saved my job, ask him a nice question. Well, what happened in 2018, November 30th, when you shut down the company? Everybody went home except Roger? Not Roger lost his job too? So Stuart Young was one of the main architects of taking away my job and so many thousands of workers' jobs, putting the whole country into jeopardy and problems from the November 30th, 2018. But I also want to tell you, the chairman raised it a while ago, I also want to tell you, when they announced, the Prime Minister then, the other bully, announced that they're going to shut down Petrotrin, your MP here in Point Fortin, your MP, the comrade raised it, your MP here in Point Fortin, said absolutely nothing in the defense of Point Fortin, knowing full well a shutdown of Petrotrin will devastate Point Fortin and devastate his constituency. He said absolutely nothing. And yes, his family, his father, I want to posthumously tonight say, you know, they say the fruit don't fall far from the tree. That is not always so, you know. And sometimes the tree is on a hill and the fruit does roll down and roll away. So his father would have never, even though he was a PNM, he would have never allowed them to shut down Petrotrin without a challenge. He remained silent. His father knew that he would have struggled for a medical plan, a pension plan, a medical plan and a pension plan where so many retirees benefited, a medical plan that is guaranteed for life. And so, Richard Kennedy, elder, one who would have stood up for Point Fortin in a real sense, God rest his soul. But Kennedy Richards Jr. stood silent and allowed Rowley and the same Stuart Young and the next fella from Labre who don't know, from Bullfoot talking, he in charge of tourism. And whatever constituency he was ever involved in, he's a tourist to that constituency. That is a fella called Mitchell. Don't know what he's talking about. All of them stood idly by and allowed Trinidad and Tobago take the most disastrous beating coming from Rowley and Stuart Young. I did not see, nor did I read or hear anywhere, Kennedy Richards put up his hand and say, Rowley, Prime Minister, I disagree with what you're going to do to Trinma. I disagree with what you're going to do to Forest Reserve. And I disagree what you're going to do with the fields. Because all of those places in Petrotrin, workers from my constituency work there. And therefore shutting down Petrotrin would devastate the community. And so said, so done. He said not a word. So to come now, on the eve of an election, and try to make yourself look honest, as if you're not involved, you were part, you're complicit, you were part and parcel of that. Ask Stuart Young why it is there's a fella who whining on social media, half naked, drunk and whining. He's saying Stuart Young is the best thing since sliced bread. He's saying Rowley and Stuart Young after God is Rowley and Stuart Young. Ask him who is that fella and why that fella saying that. You see, while you in Point Fortin, the people of Point Fortin and Labre, and people throughout this country, poor people in this country, poor people who mistakenly vote PNM over and over again, have nothing to get. But they still sing praises for the PNM with nothing to get. But those fellas, like the one on social media who whining low and who saying Stuart Young is like his God, he have everything to benefit. He benefited. So ask Stuart Young, ask them about the fake oil and that you close down the company, send all the workers home, no witnesses at all, and you settle out of court. Ask him about that. He wouldn't talk about that. He wouldn't say anything about that. But you want to talk about me. Well, I dealt with this foolishness about you saving my job. I walk with a file here. I walk with my evidence. You see it? Plenty of evidence. Now, media want you to see it. Because I'm speaking from facts. Facts is a strange thing. You know. You can't change it. You can't paint it in any other color. Because facts are facts. And so I want to point you back, Trinidad and Tobago, to a certain day in 2018. April the 3rd, 2018, when the Oilfields Workers Trade Union, after much discussion and deliberation, talking with this thing here, contain all of the discussions, all of the meetings we would have been having with all of the workers in the ENP, all of the workers with Trinma, all of the workers in Pointe-à-Pitre in the refinery. In other words, extensive consultation with the workers. After all of those consultations, we would have met with the board. A fella called SPNL. His other nickname is All, because, yeah, he sent home all, the workers in Petrotrin. And we would have signed a memorandum of agreement, which memorandum of agreement was registered in the court, the industrial court, and which memorandum of agreement the union used in its case when we took the company to court to attempt to stop them from shutting down Petrotrin. Won the case. We won the case in the court because of all of the evidence that we presented, including the signed memorandum of agreement. But as fate would have it, the court said, while you win the matter, they still allow the company to go ahead and be closed down. And so, I just want to quote for you here this evening. Part of that memorandum is important because there's where it started. And it says, in part, that the party recognizes that time is of essence. And consequently, all initiatives agreed by parties must be implemented in a timely manner within a time frame of 18 months from the date of execution of this MOA. So which means that from April the 3rd, the night of April the 3rd, when after a whole long day session, we would have signed this memorandum of agreement, the memorandum of agreement agreed that we were going to look at the company, all of the different aspects of the company, ENP, the refinery, the offshore Trinma, and put in place structures to support even more productivity of the company. That's what we agreed to. And all of the comrades knew that, because all of the comrades were bringing to those meetings reports from all of the various areas. And so we signed that agreement with the intention to over 18 months period, 18 months, to have the company reorganized in a way that it will be more productive. But lo and behold, with no recommendations coming from the Lashley cabinet-appointed committee. Remember that committee to look at Petrotrin performance? They looked at the performance. No recommendation to close down Petrotrin. From Solomon and Associates, international benchmarker, no recommendation to close down Petrotrin. And then the McKinsey report, another international consultant, benchmarking refineries worldwide, no recommendation to close down Petrotrin. Nowhere can you find any recommendation to close down Petrotrin. You know what happened? Well, of course, we know who benefited when they closed down Petrotrin, the fellow who whining on social media. But on Labor Day that same year, because of how they were performing, and because we had more crime, they condemned Kamla, more crime, more destitution, the problems in the country, we did a performance appraisal on Keith Rowley and his PNM government, and they failed in every category. Lo and behold, the next thing you hear, with no recommendations coming from nowhere, what? They shut down Petrotrin. And don't let them fool you, you know. You want to fool you to make you believe that they never shut down Petrotrin. Well, ask the workers of Petrotrin. Are they still working Petrotrin? You just get up in the morning and go to work. You just collect a pay when month end come. Well, of course. So they are so brazen with a lie in the face of you not having a medical plan. Your pension's in jeopardy. They send you home. You would have planned for sending your children to school, paying your mortgage, setting your life out in parts to ensure that you live a decent life. Honestly, giving a hard day's work for pay, paying your taxes, did absolutely nothing, but they shut the company down and sent all the workers home. Ask Stuart Young this question. Who is the contractor that benefited hundreds of millions of dollars and still benefiting from a labor supply contract when they shut down Petrotrin without any public tendering? Ask him that. You didn't answer that question. Ask him that. Yeah, ask him that. Somebody's son. I don't know who is the father. Somebody's son. Ask him that. You see, to get away from the corruption and the maladministration, they will try to obscure and obfuscate the issues and raise all kinds of crazy issues. Today, you had over 900 retirees and ex-Petrotrin workers died as a result of not having a medical plan for which they negotiated. Die. Right now as we speak, you have many of them on the sick bed, on death's door, because they don't have access to a medical plan. But you know what? Rowley, when he wants to get medical treatment, he flies off. And he go outside Trinidad and Tobago. Not in the halfway open hospital that he talked about last week that he opened. He flies out and he go to California and he go to all over the place to get the best medical treatment. That medical treatment is paid for by taxpayers. And the Petrotrin, let me tell you something here tonight. If it's one, I started with one group of workers. If it's one group of workers, if you're thinking correctly, the Petrotrin workers, they must be the first to vote out Stuart Young and keep Rowley and the PNM. So he did nothing. Absolutely nothing. He was part of the brigade of terror, demonizing the Petrotrin workers, lying on the Petrotrin workers. And let me tell you something. All you remember, 2020, days before the election, you remember Rowley telling you that after election, he can't sign the agreement for the refinery with the OWTU. He can't sign it. Because if he sign it, Kamala will make noise. And in a matter of days, he'll ink it. You only remember that? I'm saying that tonight because I want you to not be fooled with the promises that Stuart Young coming with. That you'll get jobs. And you're going to get jobs from the same refinery. And as I talk about that refinery, let me just say, I have a couple things to say about that. You see, they're blaming everybody for their lack of everybody. Them in power 10 years, but they're blaming everybody else for their lack of performance. Could you believe that? So, somehow, like they have this propensity, this magnetism, this attraction of dealing with corrupt people. Somehow. And you scan the whole world with all of the investors throughout the world, and the only people they could be attracted to and want to deal with that refinery is corrupt people. All I remember a fellow named Jindal, how they were seeing him shaking hand, the Prime Minister hand, and up to now, the former Prime Minister, the next bully, up to now, Keith Rowley never tell the country what that fella was doing in the diplomatic center, what deal he was discussing with Jindal, what arrangement they was making, what he was prepared to give up. They never tell the country that. But we could not have stayed idly by and not raise our voices against that because everybody know that same Jindal have matters before the courts in India. That same Jindal was figured in a number of corruption issues. But that's the fella Stuart Young hung up. And you know, as if he believed people could forget, up till last night he's still telling that damn nonsense, But he's the 5th richest person in the world. So what you're really saying, people just get rich out of corruption, And when people get rich out of corruption, decent people doesn't want to have nothing to do with them. But when they get rich out of corruption, corrupt PNM people just want to have everything to do with them. And so he defending that. And then fast forward to the next one. No, but before I go, now remember, it was in the newspaper, it was public information, the issue of Jindal. But the latest kid on the block, they switch over now to where? To Nigeria. And a firm, a company named Oando. But here's what they say about Oando. There's no report nowhere saying that Owando clean, and Owando have the money, you know. A Guardian report captured, headline captured, Owando's financial woes raise eyebrows over TNT refinery deal. An international investigating reporting medium called International Center for Investigative Reporting is quoted as saying, Owando continues to show signs of financial distress amid oil acquisition controversy. December 18, 2024. The same report, also from that same international investigative body, reported Owando 5-year debt surge raises growing liability concerns. That's February 13, 2025. And they go on. Indigenous oil firm has increasingly sunk deeper into debt. The company's 5-year financial report indicate rising concerns over growing liabilities. Stuart Young wouldn't tell you that. He wouldn't tell you that. So it's some kind of deal they're cooking up. And he's telling you now, want to fool you. Telling you what? Telling you that all the workers going to get work when the investor come, when that deal come into fruition, if it is ever allowed to come into fruition, that all the workers will get back their job. Well, why you shut it down in the first place? Why you take away the workers' jobs in the first place? Why you put the country under sheer hell in the first place? Why? And of course, as I mentioned, one person among a few others really benefited, and that fella whining on social media because he benefited from the shutdown of Petrotrin. So Owando and Jindal, all of them have questions to answer. Owando has not answered those questions. And that is the person they want to voice on you here. I hear a jokey statement by him. I laugh too bad. I find that they lie so much like they forget what they lie and say, and the lie becomes even more ridiculous. You know what the man said? I want to say that we're in real trouble because of the badly negotiated deals that them fellas negotiated. Negotiated only in their zone, not looking after the country. So when they went down to Venezuela, the worst possible deals that we would have had comes out of a government, a team led by who? The same Stuart Young. And because of that announcement, which now will plunge the country into further darkness and chaos, and we are not happy for that. We are not celebrating that. We wish if every single aspect that promotes development for the country, that it can come into fruition. But you see, when they corrupt, you can't get away from a corrupt ending. And therefore, with that announcement yesterday, here's Stuart Young. Here's Stuart Young. He will contact his lawyers in Washington, and his lawyers will deal with that issue as if the fella who they're dealing with care about anybody. That fella called Donald Trump even care about his own laws in his own country. He don't care about the judges in his own country. He care anything about Stuart Young and any lawyers and Trinidad and Tobago. But it's just to fool the people. Let me tell you something here tonight. You see, them fellas not only insulting the intelligence, you know, they're trying to rape we intelligence. And I don't mind if somebody feel they're smart. You're entitled to feel you're smart. But when you feel you smart and you feel I stupid, that's where we have a problem. People's eyes are open. And you see that bad deal where the country has now been plunged into darkness. There's no future under the PNM. It takes a UNC government with a UNC prime minister to turn this thing around and to energize the energy sector. And I'm proud to say that the Oilfields Workers Trade Union and the workers in this country, the trade unions who are part of this arrangement, this coalition of interests, we will be side by side assisting the Honorable Prime Minister to ensure that there's a major turnaround so that the country can benefit. Them fellas fail. They fail miserably. in Point Lisas. And even before I go Point Lisas, you know right here in Point Fortin, Atlantic Train 1 can't operate. And therefore, when that train 1 can't operate, the country receive what? Less revenue. Along with shutting down Petrotrin, it receive what? Less foreign exchange. You know, on the Point Lisas estate, many times, and some of those companies that deal with us tells us, listen, we are experiencing gas curtailment. Gas curtailment, where what? Where we have to shut down some of our producing plants because we don't have enough gas. And as we don't have enough gas, what? Workers going home, the country get less revenue. And as the country get less revenue, what? People suffer. Bad government policies result in the suffering of the people in this country. Bad leadership results in the suffering of the people in this country. And Stuart Young and Rowley, and make no mistake about it, Stuart Young is Rowley Gary Sobers. And if you have to expect anything, it's more and more blows from Stuart Young. If, God forbid, you take God out your thought and you put Stuart Young back in government after the 28th. But people smarter than that, comrades. People smarter than that. We have been fooled for far too long. And for your children's sake, and for the country's sake, and for us to move forward, there's only one government could do that. One government. And as I close, let me just say again, for clarity. You see them people who masquerading on the side as what? As the pop-up parties. And those people who, they know they can't win. They know that, you know. We know they can't win. They know they can't win. They would not win. But they know their involvement, they feel PNM have a chance. They could afford to survive the next 5 years because the bank account big and PNM paying them. But you, the people, can't afford to go back in suffering and pain for the next 5 years. And that is why on the 28th of April, come the 28th of April, we'll vote all of them out. Vote them out in the numbers and put in place a UNC government to ensure that everybody wins. Because when UNC wins, every single child in this country, Point Fortin will win, Labra will win, the workers will win, Trinidad and Tobago will win. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad wins.
Yes, it's warming up and it's getting hot. Let me hear it for Comrade Roger. I want to recognize members of the National Executive here with us, Ravi Ratiram and the Honorable Anal. We want to recognize them here tonight in Point Fortin. I recognize Councillor Bowen, a member of the Siparia Borough Corporation who is here with us tonight, and other councillors. Our hard-working police officers, we recognize you. Thank you for being present in this massive crowd that we have here. I also want to recognize the hard-working Point Fortin executive. They are here with us, being part, and have go in the trench with us. Let me hear it for the Point Fortin executive. And we have a special person here tonight. You know, all over here, I see about the bellman, the UNC bellman. But let's stand up and pay homage to Philomene Kichino, our bell lady in Point Fortin. So with no further ado, I want to bring on a man who has been with the UNC continuous, a former temporary senator, a member of the national executive position of the education research officer, a brilliant young attorney. I want to bring on here the next member of parliament for Tabakit, the Honorable Sean Sobers.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins.
Good evening, Point Fortin. Good evening to Honorable Political Leader, members of both Houses of Parliament,
members of the NATEX present here this evening, MP Dave Tanku, who is here with us in the crowd. You just heard from the fiery, dynamic, ostentatious president of the Oilfield General Workers Trade Union, Mr. Ansel Roger. To our candidates in Labre and Point Fortin, Clyde Elder and Ernesto Kezier. To our brothers and sisters from the PSA and the Transport and Industrial Workers Union, good night to you as well. And to all the UNC faithful locked on our various media, and to those who've turned out here in their hundreds at Point Fortin, we thank you for coming out and supporting the party in our continuous struggle for peace, bread, and justice. Now, just like you all, I listened to the dynamic speaker and the presentation that Comrade Roger gave us here this evening, and I just want to piggyback a little bit on what he said. You all have to understand what is going on in the PNM right now. The attempts to try to hoodwink Trinidad and Tobago. The PNM under Stuart Young is trying to demonstrate to you that there's some type of difference between this incarnation of the PNM and the PNM of just 1 month ago before he became Prime Minister. Stuart Young wants you to believe that there's the devil and the deep blue sea that separates himself and this incarnation of the PNM and the former PNM basically led by Keith Rowley. And speaking to a colleague of mine this morning, he said, but I don't know how these fellas trying to pull this thing off, you know. I feel every morning, Stuart Young, when he wakes up in the morning, you know, they have this ice water face bath thing that people doing on all those social media. Young must be just dip his head in that water, watch himself square in the mirror, and wonder, how long can I keep this up? Because no one believes them and their lies. The PNM today is the very same PNM of last month and last year and for the last 10 years. No amount of lies, no amount of distance or attempting to cast aspersions upon what is taking place within the country can ever convince this population that they are somehow different from what transpired for the last decade under a cabinet that Stuart Young was bolted to foot with Keith Rowley, that led to the devastation of so many persons within this country and their workers within this country, that roaming through Tabaquite and environs, San Fernando West, Claxton Bay and environs, going all the way up to Couva and coming all the way down to Point Fortin, you hear the stories of woe and struggle that many workers within this country have faced under the tyrannous hardship of the PNM. That you hear the struggle of those businesses and businessmen and women who would have been part of the fence line communities in all of those communities and constituencies that I just mentioned, that are now reeling from PNM administration for the last 10 years. And that is why it is important for us to underscore that you have a civic duty and responsibility come April the 28th to get rid of the PNM and ensure that the working class people within this country are restored some level of dignity that the PNM has taken away from them. I think maybe, having looked over the program, I might be the youngest speaker to grace the stage, I don't know. But based upon that, I told myself this evening that I have spoken to so many young people who are facing significant struggles throughout this country. Young workers. And there's a close relationship between young people within this country who do not have jobs and the level of delinquency and crime and criminality rather, that takes place on a daily basis. They say the devil finds work for idle hands. And that is what is occurring right now. many young people want to work, but there's no opportunity for them to actually work. And that has been the story of woe of young people within this country for the last 10 years. And the UNC incoming administration has a plan and policy in place to deal with young people, because we understand that not everybody is educationally inclined, that there are those who are better with their hands, and that there has to exist some form of technical vocational learning and training for them to be properly certified, not only here within Trinidad and Tobago, but within the wider CARICOM region, so that they can go out there and represent Trinidad and Tobago properly and lend positively to Trinidad and Tobago and CARICOM on the whole, and earn a proper living for themselves and for their family. We understand that in the UNC, and that is why part of our plans is to integrate within the secondary school system technical vocational skills training for those young people who are so inclined. But apart from that, what I've discovered, what the UNC has discovered, is that there are many young people within this country who are working, those who are successfully so, who are working, but unfortunately, what has been the prevailing circumstance within the public sector especially, is that they are being hired as contract workers. Why is that important for us to address this evening? When you are a young person, between the age of 18 and I'm going to be 36 or 37 just now, so I'll stretch it to 37. I'm still a young person. When you are contractually employed, yes, you're making a little dollar. Yes, you could be putting away a little savings. But the biggest problem that you're going to have is that when you approach the bank to get something called a mortgage as a contract worker, your chances of securing a mortgage, to procure a home, to procure a car, to secure your family, a growing family, or to start a family, your chances of securing a mortgage are slim to none. Because the way the bank will look at it is that in the morning, if you lose your job or your contract comes to an end and it is not renewed, you are a liability for the bank. And under this PNM administration, this is the first time in over a decade, they being in control, that so many young people within the public service and the public sector are being employed as contract workers. And that month-to-month employment, and that is devastating our young people within this country. Many of them still live home with their parents, not out of choice, but out of circumstance. And I can tell you this evening, without fear of contradiction, that the UNC has a plan to deal with that we will put an end to contract employment in terms of the public sector. We will review that properly and ensure that all our young people get a fair chance at permanent employment within the public service sector, so that they could go out there and really start their family and build a proper future for themselves. But as we are dealing with workers, especially here in Point Fortin, I want the people of Point Fortin, Labrie and environs, also to be aware that the PNM under this administration, two things have been significantly and severely affected. I want you all to listen. Your cost of living under the PNM, everybody knows it, they feel it. Mr. Sturge always tells me in terms of practice, he who feels it knows it. Your cost of living has gone up tremendously. When you go into the groceries, unfortunately, with the meager salaries that the PNM has yoked you with, sometimes you can't even come out with a proper bag of groceries to survive the week. People in this country have gone back to living on trust. You know what trust is? Trust and credit. When you go to a supermarket or the village grocery to take a little bit of cheese or peanut butter or bread on trust, you're not paying any money. You have that relationship with the villager, the village shopkeeper, so that next week you will pay them. Once you find the money, That is where the PNM has thrown us back to. Your cost of living is extremely high, but your standard of living is extremely low. That is the prevailing circumstance within this country. How can a country that has run through billions of dollars through the last 10 years be living under conditions like that, where your cost of living is high, but your standard of living is low? Your roads, your drainage, your infrastructure is poor. Persons are living, especially in the Tabakit constituency, getting water every fortnight. And when it comes, it's dripping in their taps. That is the standard of living of persons within this country. And they have to wrestle with a high cost of living. The UNC has a plan and a policy in place to ensure that those things are changed, that your salary will meet your needs and surpass your needs, that you will have savings to ensure that your present circumstances change for the positive, and you have an actual future that you can plan for the betterment of your kids and your grandchildren to come. And you can only see that as being tangible, real, under UNC administration. And that is why we constantly say our slogan now is, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. We will ensure that we return good governance to Trinidad and Tobago. We will ensure that persons in this country can raise their head high and proud back to the days of yesteryear, when you can put your hands in your pocket, as the old people would say, and stand up on your own 2 feet, especially the young ones within this country, and provide for their family, and not have to live day by day in some circumstances that I've seen within recent times, sometimes hour by hour. That is not Trinidad and Tobago. And that is not returning the sweetness to TNT. Partnering with our coalition of interests, we are sure, because we didn't do this just overnight. We took our time to do it. President General of the OWTU, Ansel Roger, and other members of the trade union movements will tell you, we took our time in consulting with them to ensure that we had a plan that we could actually deliver on. No pie in the sky talk, tangible delivery. The UNC has a track record of doing it. And you could bet your bottom dollar, come April the 28th, we will do it again. As I close, I want to encourage everyone, in order for us to deliver on that promise, we need you all to get out there in your numbers. April the 28th, don't let anything hold you back. Clothes I had to wash, you go wash it later. Food I had to cook, you will cook it later. But get out there in your numbers, early o'clock. Vote for the UNC. Vote for our partners in this coalition of interests, because you will be assured that the 9th of April the 28th, when the UNC wins, everybody will win. Thank you very much.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's hear it for the Honorable Sean Sobers, the next MP for Tabakit. As we continue to recognize, we have in our midst tonight our hard-working General Secretary, Mr. Peter Kanhai. Let's hear a little thing for him. All the infrastructure work, to put it together. And let's hear it for you. We have over 500 members here present tonight and 6,000 viewers online. And the thing warming up. So the next person coming on tonight, but before we bring him on, you know, I hear they talking about sports and how they care about young people. Ask them how much grounds they light in Fortin constituency. The election coming up, the PNM trying to claim Ikakas recreation ground. We had put down the infrastructure 10 years ago, and they refused to light Ikakas recreation ground. When they come down, Ikakas run them. We now pushing through and getting the lights back up in terms of the poles that they put down. They let it rot, rusty. They have to remove it now and put in new infrastructure They come fast. They even inform the Sipaya Borough Corporation. They go in onto the ground. They put the poles in the wrong direction and ask us now to move the wicket. That is how your MP does operate. So we're going ahead. We're bringing on the next speaker tonight. A man is no stranger to Carapal. A man who has grown up in the Carapal district. A man who has over 25 years in the industrial relations and in the field that we continue to represent workers under the communication workers since 1999. He has served on the National Insurance Board and continue to work through winning cases in the industrial courts for workers. I want to bring to the podium tonight the next MP for Labre, the Honorable Clyde P. Elder.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, leader of the United National Congress and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who is joining us virtually, Mr. Devendranath Tanku, Chairman of the UNC and the next Member of Parliament for Faizabad, and other members of the UNC Executive, His Worship, the Mayor, Mr. Dudnath Meru, Comrade Ansel Roger, President General of the OWTU, my comrades and friends from the Transport Industrial Workers Union, the General Secretary, and the President, Mr. Sean Sobers, the next Member of Parliament for Tabakit, my comrades and friends of the Oilfields Workers Trade Union, and of course, the next Member of Parliament for Point Fortin, Comrade Ernesto Kiza. Point Fortin, good night. All you looking good. You know, when I joined this political race, I joined it because I was determined that I will do my utmost best to ensure that this government does not see the corridors of power ever again. And when I joined the race, and when Comrade Kiza also joined the race, they say we're mad. Because this is too safe seat for the PNM. Labre and Point Fortin, how dare you all? How could you all dare to challenge the PNM? But you see, I know my friend Comrade Kiza will agree with me when I say that we dare to challenge the PNM because we have a belief. Not just a belief in ensuring that this government doesn't return to power, but we have a spiritual belief. Because you see, we believe that the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And with God, all things are possible. And those two safe seats, come April 28th, will be a shocker for them when the UNC take those two seats home. And like comrades before who spoke directly to the supporters of the other side. I want to say two things to you. The first thing I want to say to you is that I want you to help me understand how you could be PNM till you're dead and PNM self-killing you. I want to understand that concept. Because it escapes me and the logic that I have. That a party that cares, or so they claim to care about you, could treat you in this manner and you say to them, take an X5 again and finish kill me. I can't understand it. I really can't understand it. But in trying to understand it, which is the next thing I want to say to you, I realized